What happened?
And I mean, I think most fighters go into a fight with some sort of niggly little injury. Sometimes worse, sometimes not so bad. But fight camps are brutal. That it is hard. Just the constant training. I think at the moment we've got a really good sort of balance on what we're doing with our training. And it's worked the last four fights, and yeah, it's going good.
Yeah, have you guys? Do you more or less for the training camp, right? Do you change the sessions based on the person you're fighting, more or less, or does the basic do you have like a blueprint that stays the same, and then you have some sessions that you can switch and tweak up?
Blueprint's the same. We try and do a technical session and a live hard session. With each during the day. Sometimes we might do two or three technical. We probably train less in fight camp, but the intensity is a lot more. So I expect those workouts to you go in there and give it your 100%. Like we could train 8 hours, but how is the body gonna? You're not going to give 100% to each of those sessions that you're going to do over those 8 hours. So what I try and do with those live sessions, I keep them, an hour, hour and a half, and they're very physical. But then we do a technical session later in the afternoon. So the body gets time to rest. And then we'll probably do another technical session in the morning, and then we'll probably go live again in the afternoon. But yeah, that's the sort of structure I've been doing for the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 fights. And yeah, his body's just recovering and he's feeling a lot better. A lot of the times there earlier on, he was a little bit cooked sometimes, just with the overtraining, and just Alex himself. Alex just doesn't want to. I mean, the first couple of UFC fights, in his head, he said he had to keep doing what we were doing at home. So we were doing two live sessions in the morning, one in the evening, because that's what we were doing at home, and he wanted to stay in that same mindset that we were at home, and didn't want to be phased by the bright lights of the UFC.
He wanted to keep the same. He wanted to keep the same training regime all the way till fight day, all the way till he steps on the mat, till he steps in the cage.
Yeah, exactly. And it took me such a long time to get him out of that, because I'd say, look, some guys fight week don't even do anything.
Yeah, some guys just like to turn it off fight week.
Yeah, they recover their body, and look, at the moment, we're, like I said, we've got a really good schedule. And it's working well on his body. He's recovering really well. So it is working. What we've been doing, and the results speak for themselves. I'd get there sometimes, and I could just see that he was starting to get to that point where he was nearly overtraining. And I always say, overtraining is worse than undertraining. Because you can always get fitter and stronger, but once you overtrain, you've got to get your body to reset itself and get back there, and that takes longer.
Yeah, overtraining can be super detrimental, and a lot of times, sometimes when you overtrain, when you get into the fight, you're like, sometimes the fighter's already had his biggest fight in the training, where he's like almost like it's almost harder. Yeah, they already went all, they're almost burnt out by the time the fight starts.
Well, it's that's the way it is. It's your body cooks itself, and then you got to rest, and it's got to rebuild itself. If you understand a bit of how the body works, yes, I always use the example. Sometimes less is more. Because the body, when you train, you're tearing your muscles in a good way, and then when you rest, they rebuild themselves. Now, if you keep tearing those muscles over and over and over, they don't rebuild. You end up getting weaker and weaker. And I've seen that firsthand a lot of times with guys. They just want to do that a little bit more and a little bit more, and like I say, sometimes less is more. So you've got to find that balance of the technical and the live and everything else.